It's a big game for the Stamps if they want to host a playoff game here at McMahon.
Yeah, massive game. I mean, and they're in the uncomfortable position, not only needing to win, but needing some help, obviously, as well. So, not a great position. Certainly not a position the Stampeders are used to being in at this time of year. But for that matter, the team they're playing on Sunday is in the same kind of deal, in the sense that they're not used to playing important football in the last 2 weeks of the season. The Montreal Alouettes also need help in order to host the East Final. They're going to host a playoff game, but right now they're tied with Winnipeg, and Winnipeg holds the tiebreak advantage. So yeah, they need a little help as well. So lots on the line for both teams, and both teams kind of in unfamiliar positions at this point in the season.
Who will you be keeping an eye on?
Well, you know, John Cornish making a real spirited run for that Outstanding Canadian nomination in the West Division. Had a little bit of a setback earlier this week, had a staph infection in his leg, kept him out of practice Wednesday, was on an IV drip with antibiotics overnight. Was back at practice later in the week, looking solid, and he's just been terrific since taking over as the starter for Joffrey Reynolds, averaging more than 9 yards a carry. What more can you say about him? And you know, it's going to be real interesting to see how that vote goes for the West Division nomination between him and Jerome Messam. And I suppose Paul McCallum will be in the mix, but my vote's going to John Cornish simply because I think he has been the best Canadian in this division. From even when he wasn't the starter, he was contributing in ways on special teams and doing things like that. So, yeah, a lot of spotlight will be on John Cornish in this game as well.
When it gets colder like this, we often talk about the running game, but today you also want to talk about the kicking game.
Well, it's interesting. Rene Paredes has been everything that the Stampeders have asked for him. And, you know, again, going back to the voting that's going on right now for the team nominations, he's certainly in the mix for the outstanding rookie on this team. And just in the sense of where would the Stamps been without him? You know, they lose their kicker in their first game, Rob Maver, and it's not like there's an abundance of good kickers on the street. And here they find Rene Paredes, and yeah, he's delivered. Quite frankly, he's delivered everything they could have hoped for. And this is a special game for him as well. Going back to Montreal, his hometown, played at Concordia University. So yeah, he's very excited about this game.
Any lineup changes you want to point out?
It's not looking like there's going to be a ton. I mean, the Stamps will shuffle the deck a little bit on defense, which they've had to do all season, quite frankly. But for the most part, you know, status quo. Drew Tate getting the start again, and really this, I think, is going to be a big litmus test for him to see where he's at. You know, he's played well against Saskatchewan, played well against Toronto, but that's Saskatchewan and Toronto. Let's face it, that's the second division in this league right now. So this will be a real good indicator of where Drew Tate is at as a starter. The other question mark it revolves around Kenyon Rambo, whether he'll be able to play. He was taking first team reps with the Stamps at practice this week. He's missed 3 straight with that Achilles problem that's plagued him since day one. The Stamps would like to get him back in the lineup. There's no question about it. Defensively, it's looking like Quincy Butler will get his first start. He just signed last week. He's a guy with a lot of NFL experience, and worth noting that they're going to throw him right up against Jamel Richardson on Sunday, and that's a big matchup. Obviously, a guy with NFL experience like Quincy Butler, but facing the very best receiver in the CFL right now in Jamel Richardson. A lot of eyes will be on that matchup on Sunday.
That will be a test, but there will also be a bigger test in this matchup. It's a big game.
All the way around. I mean, the Stamps have to win if they want to host a playoff game, and they have to send a message. And we keep saying that, it's that they have to send a message. But, you know, Devon Kloybrecht put it best last week, I thought, when he says, you know, we're running out of next weeks, and he's absolutely right.